fact that we just looked at factorising when there is not a 1 in this first part here. I want us to just have a think now about practicing this skill. So what would I need to take out of this? I would take a 2 out of this bracket. So I'd be left with 1 plus x over 2, which would be applied to the power that's already there. But the number that I factorise out, which hopefully you can see is going to be a 2, also gets applied to this power. So 2 to the power of minus 3, I'm thinking not 8, but an 8th. So we would have an 8th. Then we would have our bracket, which was still being multiplied to that power. And taking the idea further, when would it be valid? Well, it's about the x part in the bracket, isn't it? So it would be valid if the absolute value of that is less than 1, multiplied by 2 both sides. And that's where that one's coming from. Okay, let's keep going. Take out what from here? It needs to be 1 plus, okay? So take a 9 out. 9 will be applied to the power. So root of 9, we're going to talk about 3, aren't we? Okay, leaves a 1. And because you've taken a 9 out, you'd have to take that out for the x part as well, which is still applied to the power. When is it all valid? Well, again, this is the condition we start with. Multiply by 9, divide by 2, both sides. Okay, keep it going. So the negative, again, is not a problem. The x part is not a problem, and the negative part is not a problem. Okay, but you need a positive 1 here. So the 8 needs to be taken out, applied to the power of a third. So the cube root of 8 is 2. Then there's the bracket with an 8 factorised from each to the power. You get the idea. This negative here, you don't need to worry about this when you do the absolute value thing. You just sort of take the number part. Okay, you can ignore the sign part here because of the absolute value. Yeah, so it's easier than it might first appear, this condition part. And some more very quickly. Take a 5 out. Take a 5 out. 5 to the power of, so that should be a 1, shouldn't it? Okay, 125. And the same thing here. And when is it valid? Okay, hopefully you start to see the patterns here now. So let's just do these ones quickly. There's no need to just rush in and do this straight away, but once you practice this a little bit, you should be happy with the steps covered here. So how about this one then? Let's try and have a think. Based on what we know so far, is this okay, is this not okay? So what we need to do here, we need to take a 4 out, okay? Then we do our expansion. That would leave me with a quarter x, and the absolute value, this seems okay. I know it's not written with an absolute sign, it's sort of a double-ended inequality, but this seems okay. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is a very common mistake. People have taken the 4 out, but they forgot to apply to the power of minus 1. Because really, 4 to the power of minus 1 is a quarter, isn't it? So I shouldn't be seeing a 4 here, I should be seeing a quarter. Okay, there may be other mistakes, but this is a substantial mistake. Next one here, we'll have to take a 3 out, and the 3 will keep the power, and the bracket will keep the power once it's factorized. The bracket has kept the power, but the number does not have the power, the 3 part. This should be a root 3 at the front. So those are 2 mistakes that have been made there. Okay, so in the last part then, we're going to have a look at a test your understanding question. And again, part B in particular is sort of something that people struggle with. So in the next video, let's take a look at that.